Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's Duchenne Method Q&A, our circle of creation together. I'm delighted that you're here. Welcome. I'm going to put my chat on. Good morning from New York City. Yes, hi. I am going to be checking both of my technological equipment to make sure that I don't miss anyone, that I can see who's here. So, hi, good morning from New York City. I'm not sure who you are. You may want to put your name, but you don't have to if you want to stay private. At the same time, this is our sacred circle of creation. That's what I like to call it. Oh, it's Elise. Hi, Elise. I see you now. Good morning, Elise. So I call this our sacred circle of creation, our sacred circle of connection. We do this every Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And so why am I doing this? Because I am attempting, after all these years in the somatic world and somatic therapy, body work, spiritual development, I'm really attempting to help people demystify the mind body relationship so that you might attain optimal health in all areas of your life, and also so that you might use these tools in your own life. Today, if you've received my newsletter, and if you haven't received my newsletter, just go on my website, artofalignmentacademy.com. Sign up for my newsletter because every week on Thursday morning at 7 a.m., you will receive it in your inbox, and it is going to tell you what we're going to be talking about the following Monday. Good morning, Danielle. Oh, Danielle Studneka is here. Excuse me uh, as I get very enthusiastic as people are signing on. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Danielle. It's so good to have you here. Hello, Sophia. Good morning from the mountains of Italy. Good morning. It's wonderful to have everyone here. So we usually have a few countries in the house, which is why I love this technology. Our right-hand man, our virtual assistant, is in the Philippines, who's helping us manage all of this today. It might appear very simple, and there are many little pieces that need to happen. So if you are someone who might want to begin doing these, just know that there's a couple of things we do need support in making these happen, even though they seem to be so simple. So welcome to all of you from Italy, from New York, from throughout the US, from Canada. I'm delighted that you're here. So today, if you've received my newsletter last week on Thursday, you know that we are entering our year-end review. And I decided to do it over the last 4 Mondays, or the 4 Mondays in December, so that we might touch mind, body, spirit, and emotion. So I'm going to do a variation of this. And today we're starting with health. So we're going to start, with something that has been extremely helpful for me, that you've heard of, that you're probably doing already. And we're going to do it as in our circle creation, in our sacred circle of creation. We're going to tap into a short meditation, and then we're going to go into a short conversation around the vagus nerve. And the reason I chose the vagus nerve to talk about health is because, as you will see once I start to go into it a little bit, that the vagus nerve is crucial. And many of you have heard this already, and many of you know about the vagus nerve already that are on this call. I want to review it with you. I want to introduce it to those of you who don't know about it, why it's so important, and why tapping into the functions of the vagus nerve is so, so important. So I really want us to be able to become a little bit more familiar with our parasympathetic nervous system, because that is the part of us that, when we commit to its regulation, helps us to become calmer, to improve the quality of our digestive system, and ultimately is really related to inciting and increasing the joy component in our lives. Because if we're feeling relaxed and present, then the tendency is that we'll tend to be happier. And whatever your situation is, wherever you are, if you're a mom with kids at home, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, doesn't matter what age you are. I work with a plethora of clients throughout the entire age scheme, and learning to regulate the vagus nerve, or tapping in, or learning about it, just even learning the basics about it, will help you to become healthier. Because in this case, knowledge, when put into practice, really is a game changer. It really will shift your life. So welcome to everyone who's joining in. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. If you want to say hi, please do. Just write your name in the comments, say good morning. That's the whole purpose of this sacred circle of connection, so that we might all be able to connect and to share. So finally, I'm going to share with you today a very simple ritual that I learned in the Amazon when I was there. Let's see, I guess it's a couple of years now, before COVID. And we were with the Achuar people in the Ecuadorian Amazon with Pachamama Alliance organization, which is an amazing organization. And I went there and had a really incredible time. And we worked with some shamans, and we had some experiences with herbal medicine. And it was really, truly revealing, and something that it's very simple, and it's something that you might be doing. However, the distinction with what I'm sharing with you today is how we do things in terms of your intentionality. How do you bring yourself to the fore? Which is why I am always encouraging you and all of my patients and clients to really learn to slow down, to move faster. If you want to accelerate the bounty of your life, we want to learn to move at a slower pace. I know that it sounds counterintuitive, but you'll see today a little bit more, once we get into the vagus nerve, why that might be the case. So, to get us started, I wanted to do just a short meditation with you to get us grounded and present. So if you can, wherever you are, just get yourself in a place of quiet, if possible. And if it's comfortable for you, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and we're just going to do a short check-in meditation. And usually what I like to do is I put one hand on my heart, I put the other hand on my solar plexus in the middle of my abdomen, or on my belly, wherever it feels better, more comfortable for you. So tap in with both of your hands on your body, one on your heart, your chest, and one on your abdomen or on the lower belly. And then just close your eyes. If it's not comfortable to close your eyes, you don't have to. You can keep them open. It works either way. If your eyes are open, try to fixate something in front of you gently. Soft eyes is how we call it. And just come into a place of center. Allow yourself to arrive here with us today. And you're just going to take a couple of breaths, and I'm going to give you a little directive as to how I would like you to breathe. And I would like you to breathe and inhale through the nose, and then hold the breath for 4 counts. And as you exhale, you're going to open your throat and open the mouth a little bit. So we want to prevent this type of exhale. We don't want to purse our lips. We want to open our throats, open up the front part of your chest. Shoulders are soft. We're going to do that 4 times together, just to regulate our nervous system. So very gently together, eyes are closed, gently inhaling through the nose. And hold your breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale with an open throat. And try to exhale every last piece of breath. And inhale through the nose. And hold it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And exhale. Opening your throat, opening the mouth, letting all of the air exhale from your body. And one more time, inhaling through the nose. And try to inhale as much air as you can. And then once you get all the way up there, your lungs are full, you hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, open mouth and throat. Last time, inhale through the nose. Take in as much air as you possibly can. Really force yourself to inhale a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Hold your breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale through the mouth. Open the throat and let all of the air out. And then just stay here for a moment, keeping your eyes closed if you can. Just rest here for a moment and feel the aliveness in your body. Feel the life force that you have just gotten in contact with through your breath. Just hold it here. And I want to invite you to check in to your internal weather. What does it feel like inside of your body today? What does it feel like right now? Internal weather. So is it a little rainy, sunny? Is it muggy, cloudy? Just check in. Take your time, tapping into the heart space, relaxing your body. And just check into your internal weather. And as you're checking into your internal weather, I want to invite you to allow your body to completely rest. You can let your arms and hands hang on either side of your body now. And let your body completely rest in this position. Notice your breathing. And we're not going to do anything else, but just be here. And of course, we are in a sacred energetic circle of connection. So even though I might not be seeing all of you and you might not be seeing each other, we are connected energetically. So reach out to one another energetically without knowing each other, without knowing where you are on the planet. Develop this subtle attunement to your energetic connection with others, just knowing that we're here in this sacred circle. Just imagine others and extend your energy to them. It doesn't matter how many, it doesn't matter how far. This is a practice into attuning your sensibility, into being in a circle of connection with others via an energetic approach. Just sense them. And sometimes what tends to work is if you feel your energy moving beyond you and forming a circle. So in your mind's eye, create an energetic circle so that we are all in it together. Feeling a sense of connection with everyone in the circle. Attuning your sensibility to connection with others. And we're going to stay here for one more minute. So stay with me here. Take a couple of conscious breaths for yourself. And then once you've done that, come on back to your center and slowly float your eyes open so that we might see each other. Okay, great. So I'd like to invite you to write in the comment box, what's your internal weather today? What does it feel like right now? And I shouldn't say today, I should say in this moment. What showed up for you as we did this exercise? What does your internal weather feel like? So it would be really great to have a few of you share in the comment. My internal weather today feels rather sunny, and I'm sure it's influenced by the weather outside in New York. It's quite sunny today, and I have these beautiful windows in front of me. And so, of course, I can see the sun. So I think that is affecting how I am feeling. The sun always works. So someone, I think Elise might have said, feeling breezy and damp with clouds. Breezy and damp with clouds. Oh, hi there, Pranjal. Welcome. I hadn't seen you there. Hi, Pranjal. Welcome. My internal weather is moist and energetic. Oh, I love it. I love it. Breezy and damp with clouds, moist and energetic. I love that. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else want to share their internal weather? Because that has a lot to do with what we're moving into, which is a short discussion around the vagus nerve. So tapping in to your internal weather. So that might be a tool that you might use for yourself to regulate, because when we go into our breath this way, we are actually connecting to our parasympathetic nervous system and helping to regulate the system in the body. So breath. Somebody else wrote, feels foggy this morning. Breezy and damp with clouds. Feels foggy this morning. Okay. So no judgment on anything that we're feeling, right? This is really the art of somatic work, is to really begin to develop an attunement, a subtle attunement to our physicality, to what we are feeling in our bodies. So it's very important to be able to tap into that on a daily basis, because when you tap into that on a daily basis, it helps you to become more present. And when we bring ourselves to present awareness, I call it also neutral, because you might be feeling all sorts of things, and yet you have the possibility, should you so choose, to bring yourself to center, which I call neutrality. And neutrality feels really wonderful because you're not caught up in the whirlwind, in the hurricane of emotions that arise all day long. Yes or yes, right? Emotions are very reliable. They show up all the time, all kinds of emotions, unexpected emotions. So this capacity for you to tap in and to bring yourself to center and to regulate is super important. All right, I want to move into a little bit of the vagus nerve and why it's considered one of the most important nerves in the body is because its central role is to address several functions of the body. And it's also known as the 10th cranial nerve. So for those of you who are a little bit, or practitioners who are on the call, you'll know what that is, right? It's the 10th cranial nerve, and it arises above the midbrain. And I have a diagram for you in a moment, so just bear with me. It comes out through the base of the skull and passes down the side of the neck into the body. It influences many things. So the vagus nerve is important. It influences many things. Did you know, excuse me, Did you know that the vagus nerve influences your facial expressions, brain hormones? Of course, it's the regulation of the nervous system to the heart. It influences the gut. That's what it's known for. Very popular right now about the vagus nerve and the connection between the brain, which they call the first brain, and then the gut, which is also known as the second brain. It influences the gut and all of the other organs in the abdomen. For example, your liver, kidneys, and your spleen. It also influences the network of blood vessels, fat, and connective tissue that covers the GI tract, the gastrointestinal tract, called the mesentery. Now, the mesentery, for those of you, a little bit of anatomy today, the mesentery is this beautiful tissue that is connected to the small intestine. And when you open up the mesentery, when we do this in dissection, what we discover is it's like a beautiful blossoming flower. So our inner body absolutely reflects nature in the outer world. And the mesentery is one of those beautiful functions, an organ, right? Let's see. The vagus nerve is essential in understanding heart rate variability. Also, it innervates the diaphragm and influences breathing. So this is why I wanted to start with a breathing exercise this morning, a little check-in meditation that I do with all of my clients, whether it's my body work or whether it's my coaching. All of my clients connect to this breathing session. And I'm just going to do a little parentheses here for a moment because I want to share with you an amazing book. You may or may not have read this yet, but this book, Breathe, by James Nestor. Let me put this perfectly so you can see it. Okay, anybody can see this? So Breathe by James Nestor. I highly, highly recommend it. An excellent book. And this is going to support your education around the vagus nerve. Jenny says, this is so interesting because there is a lot of research going into the connection between autism and gut health. So I've heard about this. Many autistic kids have gut issues. Yes, Jenny, thank you. Oh, and by the way, happy birthday to you. It's Jenny's birthday, everybody. So you may not know Jenny, but you might just want to say happy birthday to her because we're in this sacred circle. So happy birthday, Jenny. And yes, this is absolutely true. There is a ton of research that's being done between gut health and autism. And that can certainly be maybe a specialized class that I can have so that we can really go a little bit deeper into this. So what else does it do? It conveys information from the brain to the body, but to Jenny's point, it also transmits information from the body organs back into the brain. That's why they are calling it the second brain. The second brain. Now, in my line of work, and Danielle, who's on the call with us today, is another Hellerwork practitioner. I think you're still in Omaha, Danielle, if I'm not mistaken. So if any of you are in Omaha, you want to look up Hellerwork practitioner Danielle Studnicka, Studnicka, a wonderful practitioner. And so the correlation between the first brain and second brain, and I brought Danielle up because as Hellerwork practitioners, one of the things that I like to teach is that I always think that the gut is the first brain, right? No disrespect to the brain, but I have found in my life that the more I connect to my body felt sensation and to my gut health, the healthier my central nervous system gets. My brain gets clearer and clearer as I tend to my gut with more attention and intention. And it's been an interesting investigation because I've shifted a lot of the way that I eat. I've stopped alcohol for, I stopped for many months and then I might start again, but I've been very, very mindful of experimenting with these things. Hey, Bonjour, Christiane. My sister-in-law and brother are here. Thank you for being here. We're just talking about the vagus nerve. So welcome and good morning to you. So gut health is directly correlated with the communication between your gut and your brain. So this is why for most people, when we stop drinking, even for a week, we start to feel better. I mean, alcohol is, a wonderful, delicious, entertaining practice, and I certainly indulge in it at times. And at the same time, as soon as I start to limit my alcohol intake and coffee, and I regulate how I eat, of course, my brain gets clearer. So for me, in my work, because we tap so much into the physical body, I really feel like your gut is your first brain and then the central nervous system. So there's a communication, there's a direct correlation and communication between your brain and your gut. So now the vagus nerve, it's part of your parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the second arm of the autonomic nervous system. The other arm is the sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so the vagus nerve is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system, the other part of the autonomic system, is known for your fight, flight, freeze response. You've heard about this, right? There's an amygdala gland in the brain that activates this sensation of the fight, flight, freeze response. That's the system that alerts us to stressful situation and activates our body's stress response mechanism. This system primes the body to deal with emergencies. And what's been happening in the world today is that we are many of us, the global situation tends to be in a fight, flight, freeze response at this time. Certainly, I have noticed it in my practice. Danielle, I don't know if you have, and maybe even Elise, maybe you have. Notice, depending on how many clients you work with a week or that you see, or patients, there is definitely an increased level of stress globally at this time. So most people's sympathetic nervous systems are on high alert. And so what happens when we're on high alert is that the levels of hormones are increased, right? So cortisol in particular is increased, and that creates imbalances in your hormonal system overall. And the consequences of this is that you can have increased or high blood pressure, increased risk of infection. Okay, so if you're in that sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze response, your tendency to fight off infection is lower. Doesn't that make sense in the days of COVID, right? And now I have more and more patients. I don't know about you, but in my world, I have more and more patients who have these colds that they just can't seem to go away, or coughs. People are consistently coughing. Well, if your sympathetic nervous system is in the constant fight, flight, freeze response, your level to endure this type of virus, your level of your immune system is compromised. So you have a lower resistance level to infection, right? It also increases the sensitivity to pain. It increases sensitivity to pain, aggravates the system of fibromyalgia, which is a big concern in my line of work because I work with people's connective tissue to help regulate, lengthen, support the good hydration process of the connective tissue. And for many of us, we suffer from insomnia, or we're just not sleeping well. So it's super important, based on this information, that we learn to balance our nervous systems. And part of that includes really learning about the vagus nerve and our parasympathetic nervous system, and to begin our day, as I shared with you at the beginning of this session, with a short check-in meditation to check in with your internal weather. So I want to share with you now, first of all, before I keep going, let's see. Bon matin. Yes, Christiane. Hello, Jenny. Oh, that's how I know this. My little flighty risks therapist talked about it. Yes, exactly. So I know you're familiar with that, Jenny, because your therapist is definitely going to talk to you about this. So now, thank you for sharing that. I want to share with you an image of the vagus nerve. Okay, so let me know in the comments. Let me know if you are seeing this properly. Give me a thumbs up or a one or yes that you can see this. So we're talking about the parasympathetic system. And I just want you, again, to take a look at this. Okay, great. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. So take a look at this as I continue to share a little bit of information. Thanks, Jenny. Okay, great. So the parasympathetic nervous system has the primary role of turning the sympathetic nervous system off and self-regulating physiological functions. It is known as the relaxation response or the restful alertness response. So when you go into communication with your parasympathetic nervous system, when you start to practice very easy regulating tools on a daily basis, you can actually affect high blood pressure. You can affect how your immune system protects you. You become stronger and you can actually fight off infection. And of course, this increases your level of being present and bringing more calm in your life. Because I will tell you that I'm going to go crazy here, and I know it's a lot, but I'm going to say 100%. 100% of what I experience in my practice, and this has been for over 15 years now, everything that is dysregulated in the body, in the mind, in the spirit, is 100% related to stress. There is always a correlation to stress. So this is why it is so important to integrate simple practices on a daily basis, right? And it looks different for everyone. However, I wanted to show you and talk about this today because once you have a visual, don't you find it better once you have a visual? And maybe some of you have already seen this, but then when we look at it as a group, a lot of the time, it helps because of the collective consciousness of the group. So I wanted to share this with you today as a really important tool for you to know about the vagus nerve. Do a little bit of research on it for yourself because it's going to help you to regulate. For some of you, a lot of my clients who have problems with their periods, a lot of women since COVID have come to me and have had dysregulation of their periods. Well, it makes sense living in a highly stressed society, and especially if you have a predisposition for sensitivity. If you're someone who takes on other people's energy, or you find it difficult to navigate social contact, because, I'll give you an example for me. I don't like going in large stores like Costco or Home Depot or any of these huge stores because the lighting affects my nervous system, and it makes me actually I get confused. I lose a little bit sense of center. And also I'm very sensitive to loud noise, especially if I'm in environments like the train, if I'm in the metro, if I'm in a store again, and there's just a lot of very loud, that type of loud music or kind of over, the audio, and it's very loud, it tends to really shock my nervous system. So you might have a relationship like that to it. I'm going to read Jenny's comment here. So Jenny says, so could there be a connection between my kid doing yoga and a reduction in her elopement flight risk issues? Yes, 100%. 100% yes, Jenny. And that's for all of us, right? So part of the techniques that we could use as adults and children is practicing some sort of yoga. And yoga doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to learning all the exercises and doing them in a sequence. You certainly can. And you can also learn how to just stretch your body in a way that feels good to you. And I'm actually going to share something with you. Hey, let me know if you can see this, okay? I'm writing this is, oh, it's only going to YouTube. Okay, I think it's only showing on YouTube. So I want to share with you the MELT method. Let me come back to that after I finish this piece on the parasympathetic system. So yes, Jenny, 100%. The parasympathetic nervous system via the vagus nerve pathways can be activated by meditation. Surprise, surprise. It also, when it's stimulated, induces the relaxation response. It also can change the tone of your voice, and the facial muscles are influenced by vagus nerve stimulation, and you can see and feel the relaxation response. So when you're looking at someone and you find them attractive or relaxing, that might be part of it. Now, the response of the vagal nerve, the response of vagal nerve stimulation can be measured in a number of ways, including an increase in lung capacity and an increase in heart rate variability. So, in other words, the vagus nerve influences the microbiome, and the microbiome is sensed in your gut. Okay, microbiome, you've heard that word too. Gut health and knowledge about the microbiome, which is the bacteria that live and function with the gut, is very easy to research right now. It's popularly talked about in mainstream awareness and understanding. So the gut bacteria not only produce beneficial chemicals and hormones that the body uses, but also contains extraordinary amounts of genetic material, and this interacts with the human genome in ways that are only now being researched. The vagus nerve is central to these gut processes. So I'm going to leave you with, or not leave you, but I wanted to, and I didn't talk too much about the human genome. This is a part of the work that I've done. I'm going to change this. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, we're back. When I was at Berkeley, I took a few semesters, and that was in 1998 to 2002. So that was a while back. I was part of the Human Genome Project, which is where I learned for the first time about the vagus nerve in depth. So it's been around for a long time. It's in the mainstream media now, but the importance of understanding how your vagus nerve functions and the connection between the brain and the mind really can help you to increase the quality of your life and health by easy practices that you can integrate. And everybody talks about them, and a lot of them you've heard about. The distinction is, are we doing them? So here are a few that I want to share with you. 10 ways to stimulate the vagus nerve simply without electrical devices. Okay, the number one thing is we want to get away from electrical devices. So deep, slow breathing, as we did when we started our session today. And another one is any exposure to cold. Now, you've heard about these ice baths, the polar club, what is it? The polar bear club, you know, when they go and they rush into the rivers in the middle of winter. Certainly people in Sweden and Germany and maybe Austria all practice this. So it's not just about putting your whole body in cold water, although that's amazing. And it's also hard. I do it, and it's also hard for me. However, just rinsing your hands in cold water, rinsing your hands and your face in cold water can really help to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. Singing, chanting, gargling, and humming. Singing, chanting, gargling, and humming can stimulate the vagus nerve. And therefore, if it stimulates the nerve. It stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, and it brings about a sense of calmness. So think about this. Think about any of you who've had children, how you might have hummed to your child. Rocking is another great exercise to do to activate your vagus nerve, to stimulate the vagus nerve. Laughing. We don't laugh enough. We're too serious. I count myself in that too serious bunch. More laughter, more smiling. Remember, your facial muscles are affected by how often you activate your vagus nerve, your parasympathetic nervous system. So smiling, using your face, restorative yoga postures, Jenny, restorative yoga postures, including cat-cow posture and downward dog works really well. I've already talked about meditation, also works very well. Evoking the emotions of love, compassion, and empathy stimulates the vagus nerve. I'm going to repeat that. Evoking the emotions of love, compassion, and empathy. I'm all about it. Exercise, of course, everybody knows this. Did you know that exercise stimulates your vagus nerves and stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system? Yes, you know, because every time you exercise, you feel better. Okay, massage, acupuncture, acupressure, structural integration, Heller work, any type of body work where you are touched, where it is about regulating the rhythm of how someone touches you in massage and in structural integration as well, is super helpful to stimulate the vagus nerve. And lastly, but not least important, you've heard of intermittent fasting. So I really want to support you in exploring that. If you've never done intermittent fasting, I want you to start to explore that. You have a ton of resources. I'm not going to tell you where to go. Just Google intermittent fasting and try to integrate it in your life. So usually I like to do 24 hours a week of intermittent fasting. So for me, for example, it'll be either like 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. on a Thursday night, and then I try to go till 5 or 6 p.m. the following day. Now, you don't have to do 24 hours. You can do 12 hours, which is very helpful. So let's say you stop eating at 6 p.m. on Thursday night. You don't eat until the following 6 a.m. So throughout your night and the morning. But do it every week. Give your system a little bit of a break. Otherwise, we're just consuming. And just like how we do with our brain and with technology, we never stop. Another one that I'm going to talk about that I might not have said, but because my sister-in-law is here, my sister-in-law is a very, very adept knitter. She crochets and she makes these beautiful shawls and sweaters. She's extremely talented. And when I was just there a few weeks ago, last month, I can't remember, she was telling me about how that helps her. So that's her way of meditating. She's in silence and she does something with intention and focus that helps to settle her nervous system as well. So any type of activity like that you love also, because she loves to do it, right? So that will encourage her and stimulate her vagus nerve, her parasympathetic nervous system. Does that make sense? Give me a yes. Give me a number one, a yes. Let me know if this is making sense to you. I hope it is. Okay. Finally, I told you that I would share a little bit of a secret, or I like to call it a shamanic life force hack. And I'm going to share that with you now as we end. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the responses. I appreciate it. Okay, so what's my life force hack? So I was in the Amazon, I told you a couple of years ago now, right before COVID, and I went and sat with a group of shamans in the Amazon, and we practiced something which was really remarkable and deeply restorative. And what it is that every morning we would get up at the crack of dawn, about 4 a.m. Thank you for the responses. We would wake up at 4 a.m. and we would go sit at one of the shamans' huts. We'd sit in circle, and this was special time in the morning where we would go and sit and discuss as a group our dream time. And one of the things that we drank at these morning rituals was something called guayusa tea. Guayusa tea. And I want to talk to you for 2 minutes about guayusa tea. You can get it pretty much anywhere. You can order it. I want to ask you to maybe expand your vision of this and not order from Amazon, only because there are other amazing companies. And I'm going to share with you the company I get mine from. I got a bunch when I was in the Amazon, but then I came back and found a really great, sustainable, excellent company that sells it, and it's very inexpensive and it's delicious. So what is guayusa? I want to share with you first. It's a plant, and it's technically not tea exactly. It's more related to green or black tea, so the matcha family. And what they do is when we dry those leaves, it becomes a tea. They're added to hot water, and we ingest it in the morning. So this is something that has been practiced by indigenous people in the Amazon for thousands of years and is still being practiced today. And the reason why it's so deeply transformative is because it brings us into a state of presence. This tea helps to calm down the nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. It stimulates your vagus nerve. And so you have this tea in the morning, if you can, and it's best done in the early morning. Now, I'm not asking you to get up at 4 a.m., although if you'd like to start a new ritual, a new way of living, of being in 2023, I am inviting you to explore and try all of these tools that I'm sharing with you. Jenny says, this is so fascinating to me. Thank you. You're welcome, honey. Thank you for being here on your birthday. That's amazing. So guayusa tea, I'm going to send you the link. And let's see if I can send it. Can I do it here? I'm trying to write this. How can I write this? Add overlay. No, I'm trying to find a way to show it to you right now. Okay, I can't. I'll send you the link on the Facebook group page, okay, where you can get guayusa tea. So here's my hack for you, my shamanic hack for you. Very simple. So when you wake up in the morning, now, if you have children, you have little ones, this is a little bit harder to do, I know, because they're running around, they need your attention. I'm just inviting you to consider, as we move into 2023, what are some of these tools that I'm sharing with you that could make a significant difference in your life, that can bring about, excuse me, more happiness, more connection, more calm, more space. So the guayusa tea ceremony, what we do in the morning is that, and I do this every morning as well. I have my tea, and we used to sit around a fire, right? So you're in the Amazon, you're with a shaman, you're sitting around a fire. And what starts to happen is that whoever wants to share their dream time shares it in the circle. So what I want to invite you to do is to get some guayusa tea. Check it out. It's inexpensive. You might even be able to get it at Whole Foods. Not sure, but you might be if there's a Whole Foods next to you. And in the morning, start to have a ritualistic practice of making time just for you. So for example, you might light a candle, you might light some incense, make your tea, and sit with intention. Sit with intention with your tea and see if you can remember your dreams. See if you can, sometimes, sometimes it's not even a dream. Sometimes it's your imagination and your creativity, and things arise. And as they arise, they give you more information about yourself and maybe things that you've never tried or even thought were possible. It's also really great to do this and to allow yourself to bring up a question to an answer you're seeking for. So it might be to your spirit guides, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it nature. and to commune in the morning with guayusa tea, and just let your body ingest this delicious tea that stimulates the vagus nerve, therefore regulates the mind-body connection on a physiological level, and it calms down your system, and also it will help to promote your digestive system. As I'm sharing, something's coming up for me, and I'm wondering if it's appropriate. Jenny, I'm thinking about you and your daughter, or those of you who have children, and I wonder if it's appropriate for young children. I'm not sure. I know that I have seen young children drink it in the Amazon. So I'm guessing it's safe, but I'm not 100% sure. And this is not something I doubt that a doctor would know how to respond to this. So I need to do a little research for you, Jenny, about this. In the meantime, I invite you all to experience with guayusa tea. I'm going to put it on the Facebook group page. Hey, those of you who are doing your daily affirmations, your daily gratitudes, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for posting. Please keep going. We have 12 months of this, right? This is a year-long process. Every day we're writing down our gratitudes, our appreciations for what life shows up. And I really want you to focus when you're writing your affirmations and gratitudes to be intentional. So to really take a moment, and you're going to see that I'm constantly inviting you and taking moments, slowing down, being in the present moment, feeling your love for one another, feeling your love for life, your joy. This is how we're going to get through this crisis: financial, economical, global, political, all of it. This is how we're going to get through it. We need to slow down and just appreciate life, appreciate your life, your health. This was a full session today. I hope that these tools are helpful to you. I hope that you can integrate them. Thank you for continuing to write your gratitudes. I'm going to do it every single day. I'm doing it for the year. I am committed to doing it. There are other opportunities coming your way in the new year. I will see you next week. Next week, what are we talking about? Next week, I said to you that we're going to explore love and spiritual life. Next week, we're talking about love and spiritual life. And I'm talking about love someone, be in a partnership. I'm talking about universal love, and I'm talking about your spiritual life. And I'm going to be inviting you again to explore some practices that certainly I do. And maybe you can share some of your own. Okay. I love you. I thank you for being with me here today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share in the Facebook group page. That's why we're there. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. Look out for my newsletter on Thursday morning. I'll give you some more information about love and your spiritual life that we'll be talking about next week. Blessings to all of you. Bye, and thank you for being here. See you later.